It's Raj and Pablo. We are in Mumbai and it's an historic occasion. Indian television will be changed. 126 episodes. And two of the enfants terribles of cinema and television are with us now. We're at Kalistan Studios. Where are we, Pablo? What's the show? Why am I here?
Well, it's the set of POW. And I have to say, we walked around. It looks amazing. And Nikhil Advani, of course, is here with us, the man behind this. And then it gets a bit further than that. We're joined by Gideon as well. Now, the question that everyone's going to want to know is, how did this synergy happen? Who met who first? Who chased who first?
Well, I think the Star Network that's the producing the show, presenting the show, they saw D-Day and they chased me and they said they want a show like D-Day, and I told them that you guys do Saas Bahu kind of, this whole soap opera kind of stuff, and I'm not going to. You will say that you want this edgy kind of material, and then you'll just say that. Change this and change that, and you want to change this, and we put this track in, and this, she should be breaking her bangers and she should be doing all that. So I say, I'm not going to get into that. They said, no, why don't you see Hatu film? And it's the show that Gideon Raff has made, and it's the seed from which Homeland has germinated. And I said, I don't want to do Homeland. I've just done D-Day, I've done an action film.
Indeed.
Airlift was being produced at that time. I said, I just want to get away from the whole action thrill, this thing, I don't want to do that. They said, just watch it. And then I remember I watched it and I was completely blown away by the fact that it's called Prisoners of War. And the real prisoners of war, the women and the families and the daughter and the father-in-law and the brother-in-law and everybody else. And like he says that when somebody comes home, you feel that that's the end of a story, but actually that's the beginning of the
whole journey.
And I remember I said, I think I sent him a mail saying that I find it fascinating.
Gideon, were you aware of Nikhil Advani at all?
I was.
Had you watched Gal Ho Na Ho? Had you watched Bella House? Had you watched Airlift?
I haven't, but I will.
Oh, good. Yeah. So how did it come your way? And did you have the final decision in the sense if you want to go ahead with the Indian version?
Well, Kesha, the broadcaster in Israel, told me that they're doing an Indian version, and they sent me Nikhil's, materials and everything, and I was so excited. But we're doing a few versions around the world. Until I saw the Indian version, I had no idea how moved I was and how terrific it was. And when I saw it, I actually sent Nikhil an email because I was in tears, moved so much by it. So.
And how does it differ from what you've seen? Because, I mean, as Indians, we're known to be a lot more emotional.
Well, it's a very emotional story, and I think Nikhil really captured the heart of the story and the truth of the story, and there are differences in terms of, the culture, the Israeli culture, the Indian culture, and all of that, but the essence is the same essence, and it was very moving to see.
And Nikhil, for you to adapt this, 126 episodes, but that's what, like, 26 movies?
Yeah, how many hours are you working a day?
A lot. A lot. I mean, yeah, but it's, when you are doing something this good, and I'm not talking about what we are achieving over here. It's just that the source material is so good that I'm just having a lot of fun. I have 2 other films which the production wants me to jump into at this point, and I keep telling my producing partners Monisha and Madhu that, listen, just hold on, let me finish this and I'll get into it. And their whole point is, but you didn't have to do this, you had to just start it, and you need to just get out of this. You didn't, even the network is not expecting you to be sitting over here every day. And I just feel that we have a unique opportunity, like you just said in the opening, that you have an opportunity to possibly make some big change in television, Indian television. I've come from when I started off in 23 years ago in this field, I started off in television, and I started off with some of the mavericks of television, Saeed Mirza, Kundan Shah, Aziz Mirza, and they were doing such great work. And then I think somewhere or the other we lost our way, and I hope that I mean, we are constantly asked this question that will the Indian audiences accept such a show which is serious and which is at the end of the day is very emotional, and an extremely emotional show, and it's very real. We've tried to keep it as real. You can see, I mean, we actually went to Patiala, saw a house like this, came back, and we said that, if we can't shoot there, let's build it over here, So.
And Gideon, for you, in the sense of like seeing your creative work expanded in a different cultural
Yeah.
context. Do you have control of that as well, or is it a sharing of ideas? Do you have suggestions?
Well, absolutely. I have sharing of ideas, and we talk. We're in dialogue, and tomorrow I'm going to sit with the writers. But the big magic of this for me, the big miracle of this for me, is to watch Nikhil's work and forget that it started with me. It's just drowning in that world, and that's amazing. And just like Nikhil said, this show was groundbreaking in Israeli television. Nobody knew how it's going to do. It became Israel's highest rated show ever, and a show that every Saturday night the audience committed to sitting in front of the television and cry, which is very unique for television. But I think now television is the groundbreaking stories are told on television now. So hopefully this will be the same.
Yeah, I mean, every day, it's like, when we come to the set and I have 149 people on the set every day, and I just tell them the first 3 days it was relentless. I should keep telling them, don't come and tell me that this is what is expected on television. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Just tell me what is expected for the scene. If we can't get it, we'll find a way to get it. Let's just do this.
I mean, Raj and I have walked around the sets, and they are very true to life. The budget's huge for this. The cast is, we've seen some of the cast, and you're filming.
Guys, you guys know my producing partners more than me. I mean,
Yes,
you know them pretty well, both Manisha and Madhu. No matter what I do, they keep telling me you are spending too much.
I promise they didn't tell us to ask you.
So no matter what I do, if I bring a short film, they say you are spending too much. This is the most expensive short film ever made. So I don't know the answer to the reason that they are there is to make sure that I can do what I want and not know what I'm spending.
Oh, good. That's a good answer. Now, on a slightly serious point as well, Gideon, you were like Israel with everything that was going on. You were in the Israeli army as well.
was.
Is that where all your ideas and concepts for this were you affected? Are these personal stories?
Well, it's a very personal story to me. Not necessarily because I was affected personally by prisoners of war, but because it's a very small country. It's a very tight community. We all go to the army, so whenever something like this happens, it's as if it happened to us. And then, we campaign for the return of our prisoners of war. We demand that the government pay a very high price for their return. And then when they come back, we kind of want a happy ending. We want to forget about them, and we want them to be okay. And that's never the case.
And for yourself as well, with the political situation as it's occurring at the moment and this is from the Cargill era, but it's like time has caught up. Your series is coming out and everything that's going on.
Exactly. I mean, Raj, when we were launching the trailer, the one question that I was constantly getting from media was that how did you guys time the launch with the war? I said, I mean, it's absurd to think that a network will start war between India and Pakistan so that I can launch the show.
Yeah.
But it's a good story.
But it's a good. But
Manisha's wonderful at that.
yeah. Maybe she's spending too much. I don't know. But I mean, the thing is that as writers, we open the paper in the morning and we say, did you read what just happened? We've just put that in episode number 85.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's just happened. So it's literally art imitating life, or really, it's just very. It has been absurd for us as a writing team. It has been absurd for us because really, it's been stranger than fiction, right? I mean, we are writing it, and we are hoping that somebody will turn around. We know that somebody might turn around and say that, hey, this cannot happen.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It just happened.
I think it happens when you tap into a zeitgeist, when you tap into a real truth. Suddenly, art imitates life, and life imitates art. Yeah.
The other thing that touched us watching the promo and some of the stuff that we've seen is the music. It just touches a chord. Was that integral? Because music has always been integral.
Yeah.
Because my films have failed, and there's no denying that, right? I mean, they've done very well, but they've failed also. But the one thing that has not failed in even the films that have failed is the music. And I think that as some kind of stamp that I want as somebody who's involved in this project, whether I'm producing it or I'm directing it, I wanted to be that it has great music, So the boy who's done music in the show he's a kid called Arjuna Arjay, and he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Trust me, as both of you guys, you have to know that he's phenomenal. 5 years from now, you'll only be hearing his name.
So we'll be interviewing him as well.
You'll be interviewing him. He'll be coming, doing some shows in Wembley. You guys will be calling up and saying, can we get tickets to Arjuna?
And finally, I have to ask both of you, it's called Prisoner of War. Now, are you a prisoner of the series? have you become a prisoner of this series? Do you take it with you everywhere? Have you taken it with you
Are
everywhere?
you eating, sleeping, living?
Yes, absolutely I am. But on
Even
a more
now?
serious note, the reason it's called Prisoners of War is because the captives themselves, and I found this in the research that I did when I talked to their wives and their brothers and the doctors that take care of them, the psychiatrists. So I realized that the whole community is prisoners of war, not just the captives themselves. And Nikhil was very smart in doing the same here. But yes, I'm definitely a prisoner of the show. And now I'm prisoner of this show.
And yourself, what have you been affected by most? Because you take something away with each film.
Yeah, I think that I think what I've taken away from, I think this is the ability that 149 people somewhere or the other have started believing that we are going to be able to do something that is special. Really, it was a task in the beginning, but I think that finally they've understood. I think that what happened was when I showed them the pilot,
Yes.
right, and they saw it, they said, you know, this is something
This
else.
is unique.
This is something different. This is not what, you know. So they all think that I'm a little crazy. But,
No.
Never.
but yeah, but.
Nikhil, Gideon, thank you very much.
And thank you for letting us on the sets as well. They look amazing.
Thank you.
Watch out for Prisoners of War exclusively on the Indian channels and worldwide very soon.